Welcome to Ascende Superius. This reflection is on Desert of the Heart. In reading the first homily of St. Isaac the Syrian, I came across a particular passage that struck me. To paraphrase, he says, "I write to avoid despair." This illustrates a distinct phenomena with the human person, in that to understand and express one's thoughts has been an endeavor for man since antiquity. Isaac, being an early Christian, exemplifies the process of becoming who we are supposed to be, meaning that man has to delve within himself, shutting out all the noise of the encumbering world which seeks to distract him from knowing his true self. The modern psychology that is taught only emphasizes the problems which ail us, not the resourcefulness of identifying the root cause and way of healing to move beyond our issues. Back to St. Isaac, this Christian monk and author writes in his ascetical homilies the wisdom gained from the desert solitude endured for many years. Here, in the wasteland, does man find himself, truly, cutting out the world and its allurements, its sin. Do we find an example, not only in one person, but in a multitude of men, women, monks, Cenobites, and hermits, living a life dedicated to God in its entirety. There are no refrains, no desire to look back to what they left. St. Isaac identifies early on in his writing the necessity to catalog the sayings he has learned from divine wisdom. The experience of the desert alleviates the occasion of distraction. Man is left alone with his thoughts. He is readily able to see the deviations and imperfections of his soul. Such men, valiant enough to take on the courage, to heed to the voice calling them out of the world into the desert, are individuals with a mind, heart, and soul predisposed to a spirit of abandonment, a willingness to embrace extreme poverty of both body and soul. Jesus invites us in the gospel to sell all we have and follow him. This radical invitation has been accepted by few since it was uttered 2,000 years ago. Yet, what are we to learn from such words? The modern mind would deem to sell all is the most ridiculous thing to do. That is due to that individual being caught up and attached to their possessions. Indeed, they identify themselves with what they own, and what they own identifies who they are. A tragedy. For us worldlings, we are trapped due to our inordinate desire and attachment with the world, the flesh, and the devil. Christ's invitation, though it seems impossible, is truly the solution for all our cares and worries. If we trusted his words, letting go of our fears and anxieties of what will happen to us and those we love without our things, we would find ourselves. It takes a determined mind of sacrifice, of total commitment. In this modern world, is it possible for us to model ourselves after the Desert Fathers? Are we even strong enough to endure the harshness and trials of the desert? While so much attention is based on the physical and external demands of the environment of the sand-laden steppes, a modern mind forgets the essential reason behind abandoning oneself to solitude. We do not want silence. We cannot handle the fact of being alone with ourselves, to pause long enough to hear the thoughts of our conscience or the murmur of our heart. We rather drown it out with the thoughts of others, and instead of thinking for ourselves, we rather listen to an impersonal society of gurus, famous for their vanity and plastic appearance. The so-called experts, who know very little about what it means to be authentic, teach uninformed minds on living your own truth. The fact is, most do not adhere to any form of truth, objective in nature, not even science, but rather follow amalgamated mantras, superstitions, and magic. The existence of what is rational has been undermined for what is subjective and ignorant. You will be accepted if you mindlessly agree with the status quo. Critical thinking is far and few between. And so, in a society that lacks positive and objective reinforcement of the laws of nature, science, and religion, man has to fend for his spiritual and intellectual survival by interiorly withdrawing into the desert of the heart. It is here that man will learn to compose the thoughts and desires of his heart, like St. Isaac, attentively listening to the sacred utterances of wisdom, as the composition of his soul is nourished by divine intercourse through prayer, reflection, meditation, and ultimately contemplation. Let us sell all that we have and follow Christ by adopting the spirit of abandonment and embracing poverty of soul. It is only by the acceptance of virtue, namely, humbling ourselves, that we might forsake our attachments, those pernicious fears and anxieties of losing contact with a world that does not even know we exist. If you find this content edifying, please consider sharing and liking this video, as well as subscribing to this channel, that we might be able to build a community of individuals who seek after the higher things. Until next time, may God bless you and protect you, and may love and peace reign in your heart.